Hello guys, welcome to NXVTO new video. Today is Tuesday. This is our first update of 2026, so happy new year. And today we're gonna be picking up from where we left on the last update. And as you can see, nothing much changed since we gave you an update on this chart. And I mentioned that closing a candle below this downward channel would imply that Bitcoin could be officially entering a bear market. Although at the time, I also mentioned that we were most likely in a bear market for the last 2 months. So it's past a few months, weeks, a few weeks now, and you can see that although Bitcoin tried to recover, tried to enter inside this channel again, this downward channel, it couldn't hold, got rejected in the middle of this downward channel. And I said closing candle below this downward channel would mean the Bitcoin would revisit or retest our 77,000 level. And this is what happened this week. So this is one of the reasons why we decided to wait to have a confirmation for what, based on what we stated at the time, and we wanted to see if we could get a confirmation, so a close or a test of our 77,000 level. Now that this happened, and we decided to actually come and just continue our thought or analysis on where Bitcoin is supposed to go in 2026. So based on this analysis, based on this evidence, I can now, of course, I've been analyzing more details on these technicals, and what we found is that removing, before I remove this downward channel, I will reveal to you what we think is happening at the moment. So another, of course, another downward channel, the one that I call Bitcoin uh, bear market downward channel. So this is why I named this downward channel the bear market downward channel. So we are forming the third, in this case, based on these past three cycles, this is the third uh, bear market downward channel that we are forming now. So after we losing this small downward channel, it actually represents the top of this bear market downward channel, as you can see. So it's not, we're going to remove this small downward channel, and we're going to focus on this bear market downward channel for the rest of 2026, because as I told you, we are already in a bear market. And as you guys may remember, I mentioned that 46,000 would be a level to pay attention. In this case, guess what? 46,000 is exactly at the bottom of this bear market downward channel. So what I'm trying to say is that if the Bitcoin respect this channel perfectly, it means that we can retest 46,000 and still be inside the channel. Of course, we can have a little bounce, and most likely could have one last sharp drop to the downside to finish the bear market completely, which would put Bitcoin at exactly 36,000 level, which is crazy, but still we would be respecting this this bear market downward channel. So if you look at the bear market downward channel of previous cycle, this is what happened after we lost the 46,000 level. we managed, Bitcoin had to come and retest the bottom of this channel. Of course, we interacted with our 19,000 level, and then we had a quick fast drop below this level to retest 15,000, around 15,000, and which was, of course, the bottom of this major upward channel. So you guys remember as well, I explained why I have uh, a secondary Bitcoin upward channel below this big one. This is because I believe we're going to break this legendary upward channel to the downside, because that's the only way we could respect this uh, bear market downward channel, the blue one. So breaking this, of course, is going to again ring a lot of bells. That means we would be losing our 59,000 level, losing this legendary upward trend, and visiting 46,000 level to cause fear and panic in the market. But this would be just the bottom of our bear market downward channel, which is the best time to buy based on previous market behavior. So what I'm expecting to see is that after we're revisiting these areas, we're gonna see, most likely, I don't know what's gonna happen to the DXY. The DXY will definitely become green somehow, because you can see in the past, after we retested the bottom of this downward bear market downward channel, uh, you can see that somehow the DXY goes to green under the super gap indicator, and this would mark the best time to be buying Bitcoin or reposition yourself, or add into your position. So the reason why we are called the bear market in the first place, you guys know that when we are at the top of this upward channel, we know that the DXY becomes red on the super gap indicator. So any resistance could be signaled at the top. In this case, why most people don't understand that we top is because we have red and we have a major resistance. So this to me is a concern, and we have to respect the market the way it is. And for that reason, we believe we already at the top, and the bottom will most likely be around 46,000. And the probability for there's a high chance to retest 36,000, but who knows? I don't know. No one knows. So this is my thought on this. The DXY and Bitcoin ratio, we can see the ratio is also following the rules. You can see the ratio is now resuming upward, kind of even confirmed by retesting. Couldn't break the 50-week move average to the downside, would be bullish, but couldn't do it. Kind of a test, and now is resuming upward, which means we are most likely heading to break 77,000 to the downside. And you can see that the RSI also came to recover, or trying to test the 50 level, but couldn't. Just confirming the downward trend. You can see that the ratio is breaking a major support level. See this support level, couldn't hold it, and if we break this one, of course we're gonna go below the 77. You can see the testing 77 one more time will definitely open the gates for more downfalls, and this will last into the entire, or to the majority of 2026. So the ratio is confirming the same thing, it's giving us evidence of the same thing. And this is what I believe is happening at the moment. So I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin dominance, because, of course, in the bear market, the only thing we need to be concerned is where Bitcoin is going to land. And that's the most important thing to have in consideration right now. Of course, the dominance is at 60 at the moment. We're still below the 60. We are actually at the 60 at the moment, and there's no, altcoin is bleeding because Bitcoin is bleeding, and there's not the most important thing at the moment to discuss. So the fear and greed index, most people are actually looking at the fear and greed index and saying, oh, look at how we are in extreme fear at the moment. Of course, we can be in extreme fear for a very long time or for the entire um, bear market and still breaking support is not ideal. What extreme fear usually signals in the market is are just a little dead cat bounce. What happened here, you can see that we retested this, the mid of this downward channel, the bear market downward channel, and had a little run and just broke down again. That's why we get into extreme fear just to have a little bounce to the upside and then resume to the downside. So extreme fear is actually us retesting major support line that we in bear market usually or eventually will break to the downside. So we have to be cautious about this. Extreme fear is good. You can position yourself. Of course, you can buy on this Fibonacci support the level, but then you have to take in consideration that we are breaking major supports and forming new lows. So how you gonna buy is actually respecting the technical, and the sentiment will help, but it might mislead you if you think that you already finished the bear market. So I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and sharing this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.